your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing and join the board in a moment of silence as we honor our veterans and our first responders and, of course, our active military. Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'll entertain a motion for approval of bills and payroll.
Motion.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori, second by Trustee Casado. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Rivera.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Resolved to approve the minutes of the meetings of the Board of Trustees from January 3rd, January 10th, and January 17th, 2024.
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Trustee Salaski, second by Trustee Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolved to approve a request by the Knights of Columbus Corpus Christi Council number 2502 for the use of 6 metered parking spaces on Jericho Turnpike adjacent to their premises Saturday, February 24th, 2024 to facilitate a charity event.
Entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Trustee Casado. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolved to approve a request by the St. James Restaurant and Chamber of Commerce to hold a St. Patrick's Day Parade block party on Sunday, March 3rd, 2024 from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. on 2nd Street between Mineola Boulevard and Main Street.
Okay, this is a repeat request that they've done this for the last couple of years. It's been very successful. Have they worked out everything with the police department? Or they know that they have to work out?
Yes,
everything with the
they're
police
aware and they amended their original plan,
department?
yeah.
Okay, great. Entertain a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Trustee Casado. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Deputy Mayor Sartori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Resolved to approve a request by the, by the Evening Star Quilters for the use of the Community Center Auditorium for monthly meetings on the following Thursdays from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. for the following dates as listed on the agenda.
Okay,
Wow.
motion?
Motion.
Motion by Trustee Salaski, seconded by Deputy Mayor Sartori. All in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries. Dates all the way to May
Yeah.
2025.
Now, they want to make sure they get the room.
Yeah,
Good for them.
you got it.
Resolved to approve a request by the Evening Star Quilters for the use of general purpose room for guild member sessions on Saturday, February 24th, 2024, and Saturday, March 23rd, 2024, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees adopts the standard workdays and reporting requirements for certain titles of elected and appointed officials, and that the resolution be posted for 30 days on the village's bulletin board and website.
Motion.
Motion.
Motion by Trustee Salaski. Second.
Second.
Deputy Mayor Sartori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolved to approve a request by Marta de Souza LaPierre to execute the employee health benefit buyback option pursuant to the collective bargaining agreement.
Entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Trustee Clark. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Deputy Mayor Sartori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Resolved to approve the following 2024 tow car license applicants and to designate Cross Island Wrecker as the village's authorized tow car agent for abandoned vehicles for 2024 and waive its fee for the tow car and operator registration.
That time of year again.
Yep.
We know the weather's getting
Right, it
warmer
is
when
the
this
time of
comes
year.
up. Entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Trustee Casado. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Salaski. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Mr. Rivera. Mr. Rini.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the board, Mr. Gibbons.
Good evening.
Good evening.
The first item I have for your consideration this evening is a request for a resolution authorizing change orders 1 through 3 from the utility allowance of the Wilson Park Field Number 1 Field Turf Conversion Project contract. Contractors Land Tech Group. The total utility allowance that we put into the contract was $60,000 for the total project. The total of these change orders 1 through 3 is $40,863.13. which still leaves us a remaining utility allowance of $19,136.87. And these were for things, we had to move the fire hydrant that was in the park on the field because we expanded the size of the field, so we needed to move it out of the park and back into Colonial Avenue, which required the cutback of the main, capping and reconnection of a main, as well as the installation of the hydrant itself on the corner there. There was also trying to put this together. We were waiting on the lighting design, and I threw the cost of that, the lighting that we were going to put into that, into the utility allowance in order to get the original project approved by you all, because it was taking too much time. So it was the easiest way to do it this way, throw it in there, because we knew we'd have the money in there. And then there was just another issue that we had electrically with the adjacent Wilson Park bathroom building. That service comes off the service that also provides the electric for the field. There was a grounding issue, so we had to do that as well because everything would have been inspected and would have been compliant, with electric code. So we had to get that taken care of. So those are the totals of that. Again, it was already included in the cost, the total cost of the project. It's really just a housekeeping item to cover the approvals on that. Again, the funding source is the 2023-2024 general fund budget, the unreserved general fund balance, and/or the Long Island Railroad Community Benefit Fund.
Okay, and if you don't mind, before we take the vote on this, how are we looking?
We're in good shape. All of the lighting is done, all the field work is done. They're right now doing the fine grading. All the concrete work is done, and once they're finished with fine grading, the turf goes down. What we're looking into now is windscreening that we'll put along the north side, along the houses there, along the 8-foot fence, and same thing on the west side, where those houses face into the dead end. It goes a little higher to protect the houses, but we'll go, contiguous to the 8-foot. So the whole west side and the whole north side. So I'm waiting for them to come back with me with a proposal on that, because we'll try and do it. We'll look at it, with graphics on it, Mediola, whether we put soccer balls as well, a red, wind screening with white lettering, but they'll provide me with something and I'll show it to the mayor and we'll take a look at it and we'll see about getting that done. But
Exciting stuff.
these 2 weeks that we have right now are great. They're critical because the temperatures, once they finish the fine grading, they should have enough time to get the field down and get it, woven and glued together and all of that. So hopefully we'll be ahead of the schedule.
So it is weather dependent or it's not?
It is temperature dependent.
Okay.
It's temperature dependent. So these 2 weeks, we're right in a good position for that.
Okay.
Right, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Casado, second by Deputy Mayor Sartori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Anything
Thank
else?
you. Next item I have is a request for a resolution to authorize the superintendent of public works and the supervisor of water plant operations to attend the AWWA New York Section Water Conference in Saratoga, Monday, April 8th through Thursday, April 11th. Approximate cost is $2,000, and the funding source is the 2023-2024 water fund budget.
Entertain a
Make that
motion. Motion by trustee Casado. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Salaski. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. I do have a few personnel items that were included in your packet. The first is a request for a resolution accepting the retirement resignation of William Symington and authorizing his benefit time payout in accordance with the collective bargaining agreement. Enclosed, you will find the letter from Mr. Symington, as well as the breakdown of the benefit payout to him.
Okay. I would just
Mr.
like to
Rainey?
say- Go ahead.
Mr. Symington has been involved for a gazillion years, right?
He's been with us 36 years.
Say it again?
36 years.
36 years, oh my God.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that obviously we wish Billy well. He's a volunteer firefighter. He's a resident of the village of Mineola. I don't know if he lives here anymore, but he grew up here.
He did.
So we certainly wish him well and good health in retirement, and thank you for his 36 years of service to our village. We'll still see him around the firehouse. So entertain a motion for the payout that he's earned over 36
I'll make
years.
that motion.
Motion by trustee Casado. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
And the next I have is a request for a resolution authorizing the posting of a water servicer trainee position in the Water Division of the Department of Public Works to fill that position.
Entertain a motion?
Motion.
Motion by trustee Salaski. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by deputy mayor Sartori. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Final thing I have is a request for a resolution authorizing the $1 an hour salary increase for Danny Donnelly of the Water and Sewer Division as the village's backflow preventer tester. Billy Symington was the prior one. Now that he's retired, Dan is qualified. You have a copy of his certification in there, and that's in accordance with the collective bargaining agreement.
Okay. Entertain a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by trustee Casado. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. That's all I have.
That's all? Okay, very good. Mr. Gibbons?
No report, Mayor.
You sure we have 5 minutes? Nothing you can say?
Everything is tip-top.
Okay, excellent. I will entertain a motion to close the work session. Motion by Deputy Mayor Sartori. Do you have a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Salaski. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We are so close to 7 that we're just going to go right into the public meeting. So if we'll all stand up, please. Mr. Howare, welcome back, and do you mind leading us in the pledge, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing and join the board in a moment of silence as we honor our veterans, our first responders, and of course, keep our active military out of harm's way. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. You know, it's been quite a while. I think it's been since the 17th of December, I'm sorry, of January, that we last had a meeting. It's been some exciting times going on in the village in that month, and we're looking forward to the things that are coming up ahead. Keep your eyes out. We'll talk about some of those things, but I'd like to talk about, certainly, it was a very good January for the village from where we're standing, and I think it's a good month for the residents. On January 18th, I, along with Deputy Mayor Sartori, Trustee Casado, and our Community Development Coordinator, Tom Savino, attended a press conference held in Kings Park, where New York State Governor Kathy Hochul announced this year's recipient of the DRI, which stands for Downtown Revitalization Initiative, and NY Forward Grants. I'm pleased to announce, and I'm sure that you've heard, that we received, on your behalf, the behalf of the residents of the village, a $4.5 million New York Forward grant. On that day, there were 3 grants awarded to this region, one for $10 million, which went to Kings Park, and 2 for $4.5 million, one of those going to Mineola. This grant comes after a lengthy application process, which was largely compiled by Mr. Savino and by our village clerk, Brian Rivera, and we've done this for several years now. And then a comprehensive presentation by Mr. Savino, Mr. Rivera, and myself before the REDC, which is the Regional Economic Development Council. It's the regional part of the Empire Development Committee, if you will. And we'll certainly, we took the $4.5 million. I have the big check in my office to prove it. I tried taking it to the bank. They wouldn't take it, so we're gonna have to wait. But this certainly, we'll put this money to good use to continue the revitalization of our downtown. I know everyone has ideas for what they think we should use the money for. This is not discretionary funding. In other words, we don't get to use it for whatever we want to, so I can't pave more roads on, you know, the east end of the village, or, you know, fill potholes or do something in the park. These funds are directly geared towards downtown revitalization. The state will assign someone to us who will work with us, and we have plenty of ideas of what we want to do with it, anywhere from lighting to pedestrian mobility improvements, wayfinding signs, and improvements in our downtown. And with the state, we will see what is eligible, what is not eligible. It's not going to happen tomorrow. These things take time, but those $4.5 million are certainly ours.
So I'm very proud of this accomplishment for sure, for our village. And I, of course, thank Mrs. Savino, Mr. Rivera, and all those that are involved in us getting this recognition, but more importantly, getting the money. It's nice to get recognition, but it's really nice to get money. So, and it's nice to be recognized that we have done enough in our downtown revitalization process and transit-oriented development and smart growth that the state recognizes that it would be a good investment to give us money to help us to continue to do the things that we are already doing. So that certainly was a highlight for me in the 2 years that I've been here as the mayor, and it was a proud moment for us as a village to be able to get this money. So very proud of that. We've had a busy January. We had a couple of ribbon cuttings. Willows Cove Salon, which is right across the street from the Jericho Terrace, actually a former student of mine, doesn't live in Mineola anymore, came back and opened a salon here in the village of Mineola, so we wish her well, and hopefully it will be a huge success. Right on the corner of Horton and Jericho Turnpike. Pristine Jewelry is a new jewelry store that opened up in our downtown on the Mineola Boulevard extension as you go down into places, Station Plaza North. Again, they are not residents of the village, but they chose the village to open their business, their first foray into retail jewelry business. So if you're downtown by the train station, certainly stop in and take a peek. This Sunday, I attended the Kiwanis Pancake Breakfast, the annual Kiwanis Pancake Breakfast, which used to be on Super Bowl Sunday, but now since there's 2 weeks between the championship game and the Super Bowl, and we're glad to have them back here at the community center for the last couple of years because of COVID and because the firehouse was under construction. They were not able to have it here in the community center because that's where the pancakes were made and the sausages made is across the street in our kitchens in the fire department, and obviously they couldn't do that. They've been using Mineola High School for the last couple of years, but this is where they belong. I think they've been doing it like 27 years or 30 years. The Kiwanis, of course, do some great things. This past weekend, you know, last year I said it, and I said it the year before that, and so it's become a tradition that in March we host the Mineola High School bowling team because once again, the girls bowling team won the Nassau County Championship for the 3rd time in a row, unheard of, which is really, really impressive. So we will be sure to have them here next month. Why don't we have them here now? Because they still have to compete in the state tournament. So they are Nassau County champs, and now I believe in early March, they will go up to Syracuse to compete in the state tournament. So congratulations to Coach Miller, to Coach Boringer, because once again, you know, bowling is just really steamrolling through the competition in Nassau County anyway. 2 events, and I'm sure that Trustee Clark will mention one of them, but if you remember, and I think this is a great tradition, and I hope it becomes a tradition, back around Columbus Day weekend, when it's Italian American Heritage Month, we decided to have an Italian flag raising right on Jericho Turnpike at the firehouse. And during Portugal Day events, we also had a flag raising here at Village Hall. And so I thought it appropriate that we have an Irish flag raising the weekend of our St. Patrick's Day parade. The parade is on Sunday, the 3rd of March, correct? Sunday, the 3rd of March. You'll hear more about that. But the flag raising will be on Friday, March 1st, right in front of the firehouse, 5 o'clock? 5 o'clock, okay? And we will have a brief ceremony, and then the flag will stay up until St. Patrick's Day on Jericho Turnpike. So we hope that you will be able to join us. It's open to the public. It's not by invitation, and we hope that as many of you Irish American residents, or who, like me, are Irish just for that month, please show up and support our Irish American Center, our Irish American community, and of course the St. Patrick's Day Parade, which will be held on that Sunday. I think that's all I have, Deputy Mayor.
I think that's all there was to say. No, there's a lot to be proud of. I think everything you touched on was very impressive. Very proud of the money. Thank you, Tom Savino, and thank you to our clerk, Brian Rivera, for all the hard work. I think the work has probably just begun, because now we have to get the state to approve of how we want to spend the money, but I think it's an amazing opportunity for us to really grow that downtown even more than we've already done. And there's a lot to be proud of with the girls bowling, 3P, congratulations. We will speak more about that when they come and visit us. And thank you to the new businesses that have opened here. We're very happy that you chose Mineola, and we wish you much success. And I have nothing else. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Casado?
Thank you, Mayor. So this is the hand that shook the hand of our governor. Great job by all involved to get that grant. Congratulate them, Mr. Ray. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And with that being said, I want to go back to the Kiwanis breakfast that took place here at the community center. I want to thank the Mineola Diner, who donated the batter, and Barada, who donated the sausages, and the students from Carl Place and Mineola High School, who's maybe the Key Club,
Key
they
Club,
served-
yeah.
who served this service. So, thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Clark?
Good evening. Just a little bit more information about the upcoming St. Patrick's Day events. As the mayor mentioned, March 3rd is the parade. The week before, February 25th, is the Grand Marshal Dinner, and it's held right here at the Irish American Society on Wells Avenue. It's open to anyone, so if you're interested, you could just give the society a call and reserve some tickets. And we look forward to having a great season. It's a season, it's not just a day anymore. The parade is a great time. It's a family event, and people really enjoy it, and they go back to the center for a repass afterwards, so everyone is welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Clark. Trustee Solosky?
I just have one thing to say, that on February 23rd, the Mineola Volunteer Ambulance Corps is having a Mardi Gras party at Biscuits and Barbecue. It starts at 4 p.m. to close, and if you just mention MVAC, the Ambulance Corps, portion of your check will be donated to them. So that's a great fundraiser for them, so I hope many of the residents can support that organization. And that's it.
Thank you, Trustee Solosky. Also, be on the lookout in the coming weeks. We're going to put out our first Mineola Moments newsletter for 2024, and in that will be the very much anticipated concert schedule for the summer. Ms. Pardo has been putting that together. There's an amazing lineup this year. We have a number of concerts, of course, at the park, and we also have 3 concerts on 2nd Street this year. Last year we had 2, and there are other things that we are in the works, and so you'll hear more about that, but you'll be able to save all the dates and all the concerts that we have in the park. We're almost there. I don't want to jinx us, but we're almost out of the winter, right, Mr. Reedy? Almost? Yes. So, anyone in the public wishing to speak? Yep, come on up, Ms. Glassman. Happy New Year.
I was just wondering if you could give us an update on the 2nd Street building and the Jericho Turnpike. I know we were waiting on the state for the approval in the water area next to Tony's Restaurant, but are we any closer?
Okay, so I can, we were actually just talking about this. Yes, I can totally give you an update on 2nd Street. If you've noticed this week, or actually last week now, they've taken down all the awnings, and the demo permit was issued yesterday, Tuesday. So we anticipate that they should move by early next week. They have to put up scaffolding, right, to protect the sidewalk. That should take a day or 2. Then the actual demolition should take, another day or 2. Then they have to take down the scaffolding, and then we are going to require that they put a fence around the property while it remains vacant, clean. So that one, much further along, I would venture to say that perhaps by the end of this month, that should be completely done.
That's the one at the corner of
The
Main?
one at the corner, the one that there was the
Okay.
fire going on about
Right,
2 years
forever.
now, 3 years. Yeah, it happened 2 years ago this past December.
But, yeah, that one's much further along, and that one we can see the finish line for sure. The
Good.
finish line is very near. Jericho Turnpike is a little different because it involves a state road,
Right.
and that has been the holdup. So everything's, the water's disconnected, the sewer's disconnected, everything on our end is ready to go. They are now just waiting for the state to give them the permit for the sidewalk shed or the scaffolding. And the issue, it's not an issue, but what even complicates this even more is in us trying to make it more efficient and having both buildings knocked down at the same time, but they both have to make separate applications, right? Because one property owner, Tony Labrano,
Right.
from Piccolo Busla, has to make one application from the state for this scaffolding, and then the 99-cent store next door, you know, it's silly, you know, government sometimes doesn't make sense, in this case, state government. So, but again, that should not be too much longer. But that is the holdup. We're not, and the difference with the Second Street, as many of you know, Second Street and Main Street are both county roads. However, we have a relationship with the county where we can make a phone call, we can expedite things, we can get the wheels moving. Dealing with the state is a much bigger
I
animal.
understand.
And so we can't, they're not just down the block, although they do have regional offices, and that's who we're dealing with. And we have calls into our state senator to perhaps help expedite the process. So I wish, you know, I'll be out there with the first, you know, jackhammer to knock down. If they need help, I'm ready.
You're
And
willing.
I think we
a
could
lot of
get a
people
good
would be.
group of people to knock it down by hand.
But the Jericho new construction will include both.
Yep.
Buildings.
But they're two separate projects. They're two separate projects.
They're not going to be connected.
They're not gonna be connected, no. They're not,
So the restaurant will be the new
Will be one.
apartment building.
and the one next door will be, I think, 6 units or 9 units.
A
They were both
smaller
approved
unit,
here.
but an apartment
An
building
apartment. They're both
complex.
both gonna be residential, but they're not together.
Correct.
In other
Okay.
words, they're not the same
I
project.
think a lot of residents needed that clarification and to the timing. So now that it's being videoed, I think that will help.
We have told very clearly to both applicants that during this holdup from the state,
Mm-hmm.
they should be getting their ducks in a row so that when the buildings are demolished, that we don't have to wait for them. to
Even further.
Even further for them to break ground.
True.
So hopefully they're working out everything that they need to work out from an engineering perspective, architectural perspective, plumbing, electrical, drawings, et cetera, so that they are able to do what they have to do as soon as it's done.
Okay, and jumping back to Second Street, the corner we spoke about, what about the jeweler?
Second Street, am I?
Oh, that old house with the barber and the jeweler, so that belongs to the owner of the corner building.
Oh, does it?
It does, he owns it. I believe that is also coming down, right? Yep, that is also coming down, so that will be demolished. The only thing that would be left is the pharmacy and the locksmith.
Yes.
He does not own that, so.
It's gonna be tricky.
Yeah, it's gonna be tricky, it's been tricky. It's not something that we can get involved in, but it certainly reminds me of, if you know Macy's 34th Street, it's an entire city block with the exception of a little tiny corner on 34th and 6th Avenue, which now is like a sunglass hut. And that was because that person refused to sell back 100 years
Way
ago.
back when.
And so Macy's literally just built around them and left that corner just there with that little shop. And there are no projects before the village at this time for that location.
Oh, really?
That is something else that we're working with the owner of the property. Number one, demolish it. That's like step one. Get it done.
Well, that's what he
leave.
told the jeweler, why the jeweler had to leave. He said,
Right.
the building will be demolished, and now that poor man's been gone for a long time without
I mean,
that business.
that building is in bad shape.
It is.
It's in bad shape, that house.
All the way around.
Yes, it's in bad shape, but, full disclosure, we do not have any, proposed projects or any conversations yet with that, whether he's going to sell it, develop it. But obviously, once the building's down, we're going to put pressure that he either
Do something.
do something. You know, it can't remain vacant, but there is no conversation about what comes next yet. But there will be one very soon,
Mhm.
because you'll have to do something.
Okay, that's
Okay.
what I needed to
All
know.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anyone else? Nope, okay. Anyone else on the board? Nope, okay. I'll entertain a motion to close the public meeting.
Make a motion?
Motion by trustee Casado, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Salaski, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries, and we may or may not see you next week. We do not have a hearing for next week, which is February 14th, Valentine's Day, and it happens to be also Ash Wednesday. If we do not have any work to do, then we will probably see you on the 21st. If we don't see you next week, happy Valentine's to everyone. Happy Mardi Gras to those that celebrate. That's this weekend. And I guess you don't say Happy Ash Wednesday, right? That's not a thing. No, definitely not a thing. Okay. Good night, everyone.
Thank you.